we've been told by a former warden is he's a target. That's the fact of the matter, and that's why they have him.
Diddy offered a $50 million bond, surrendered passport, and proposed home detention, but the USDA deemed him a flight risk.
I urge everyone to think about the headline versus the truth.
Let's be real for a second. Diddy's arrest has everyone shook. But honestly, are we really surprised? What if we told you this might be part of a much bigger game? One that involves a certain someone Diddy never saw coming. Yeah, we're talking betrayal, and looking like Jay-Z might be playing chess while Diddy's stuck in checkers. This narrative has been reigning in the shadows, so let's get into it. 1. Jay-Z might be involved. Hear me out. How does an empire that took decades to build come crashing down in just 1 year? It's almost too perfect, right? It was like someone close to Diddy, someone who knew all his moves, has been working quietly behind the scenes with the feds. And who's been closer to Diddy than Jay-Z? These two have been through it all together. Remember the 1999 shooting scandal? They got out clean, no problem. But now while Diddy's empire is burning, Jay-Z's out here looking squeaky clean. Like he knew this whole storm was coming and got his house in order way ahead of time. I mean, it's possible that Jay-Z could have been tipping off the feds this whole time while keeping his own closet skeleton free. Or should I say relatively. It's all starting to feel like Diddy's downfall might not just be a coincidence. Maybe Jay was just playing the long game and we're just watching it unfold. Okay, so the drama kicked off last Monday at the Park Hyatt, New York, where Diddy had been laying low for over a week. According to his legal team, he was there to surrender to the authorities. However, the day Diddy was arrested by HSI authorities, the Attorney Office for the Southern District of New York unsealed the 14-page federal grand jury indictment. This wasn't just your average charge sheet. No. Investigators claim that Diddy orchestrated an elaborate scheme, using his fame and fortune to satisfy his, let's just say, questionable desires. And this wasn't some one-off mistake. Prosecutors revealed it's been a recurrent and well-known pattern of A. Fast forward to Tuesday afternoon, Diddy was in court, pleading not guilty to 3 very serious criminal charges. And while he was awaiting trial, they've got him locked up in the special housing unit at Brooklyn's infamous Metropolitan Detention Center. Yeah, the same place known for its terrible conditions. Interestingly, it's the same federal jail that previously housed R. Kelly before and during the trial of the disgraced R&B singer, who was sentenced 30 years in prison for ST and racketeering in 2022. It should feel like home for Diddy, but his lawyers are doing their best to get him a bail.
Diddy Combs is due in court this afternoon for a bail hearing. The judge denied bail yesterday after he pleaded not guilty to federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges.
Instead of jail, Mr. Combs' lawyers were proposing a bail package that included a $50 million bond co-signed by Mr. Combs, his mother and other family members, as well as home detention and surrendering his passport, weekly substance tests, and a visitor log that would be submitted to pretrial services each night. But the judge did not agree to the proposal after hearing his arguments. Judge Andrew Carter said, "I don't believe the council has the ability to control you given the very significant concerns I have, particularly because of substances, and what seems like anger issues. The danger, I think, is quite serious. My bigger concern is to deal with the dangers of obstruction of justice and the very real danger of witness tampering. That is a real concern that I have here." Well, even a judge has his reservations against Diddy, but there is only one person who is wholeheartedly on Diddy's side. I believe him wholeheartedly. He didn't do those things. Money can do wonders, doesn't it? At least Diddy is happy with his lawyer's determination because he is literally the only person in the corner right now.
The whole notion that Mr. Combs is forcing drugs on someone is just nonsensical. There's not the slightest inkling, according to the interviews that I've done.
Despite what lawyers claim, the district attorney has a pretty heavy case against Diddy, and in September 17, a letter to the judge, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams didn't hold back in explaining why Sean should be kept behind bars until trial. According to Williams, they've got testimony from dozens of witnesses and victims, all pointing to Diddy's long history of mistreatment. And if that weren't enough, investigators have also collected mountains of digital evidence, dozens of Diddy's own devices, along with those of his co-conspirators. We're talking about 90 cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, and at least 30 storage devices. Plus, over 300 grand jury subpoenas went to pull out this evidence from social media companies, tech giants, banks, and even Diddy's own companies. Williams wasn't done though. He made it clear that the witnesses they've spoken to aren't just sharing stories. They've got the receipts, financial, travel, and communication records to back up their claims. These aren't just allegations anymore. They've got hard evidence and stacking up against the music mogul. Dozens of witnesses and victims have provided detailed, credible, and corroborated information against the defendant. These individuals include many who personally experienced and witnessed violence and other crimes at the hands of the defendant. Anyway, despite all that, it looks like Diddy's legal team just can't take a hint. After his first attempt at securing bail was shut down, Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, decided to give it another shot, this time trying to appeal to a different judge. But guess what? That move got shot down. The U.S. magistrate Judge Robin Tarnowski wasn't having any of it, agreeing with prosecutors that Combs should remain behind bars. She denied bail for hip-hop mogul after he was hit with some heavy charges, ST, racketeering, conspiracy, and transporting individuals for P. So, despite his attorney's best attempts, Combs remains locked up across the East River in a Brooklyn detention center, a far cry from the Manhattan penthouses he's used to. As Agnifilo continues to argue that it's impossible to prepare for a trial from the tough conditions in that facility, one thing's clear: the law wasn't cutting Diddy any slack this time around. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me, but everything on the government's timetable, nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're having to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial. 2. High-profile people. It seems like every A-lister who used to run with Diddy is now playing some serious game of who? Never heard of him. We're talking big names: Jennifer Lopez, his ex, his longtime bros Ashton Kutcher and Jay-Z, mentee Justin Bieber, party pal Leonardo DiCaprio, the Kardashians, and even Naomi Campbell. They've all been by his side soaking up the spotlight, but now, radio silence. It's like they've collectively decided, nah, I wasn't at that party. Fox News reported that while none of these celebs are directly caught up in Diddy's criminal mess, they're definitely sweating bullets. And the fear is real, folks. Eric Schiffer, CEO of Reputation Management Consultants, sums it up perfectly. Celebrities are silent because they're scared to death of their brands bleeding out with fans over ties to Diddy. And worse, they fear if they cross him, things could end in disaster. It's common knowledge that Diddy was the king of wild, star-studded parties, A-list, VIP, invite-only types of vibes. Everyone wanted a spot on the guest list, but now the industry's like, Diddy who? Doug Eldridge, founder of Achilles PR, said, "The severity of these charges is paired with rumors and years' worth of rumors swirling around Diddy have left Hollywood's finest scrambling to avoid eye contact. They know better than to get pulled into this sinking ship." Just look at Rodney Lil Rod Jones. Earlier this year, he dropped a bombshell lawsuit on Diddy accusing him of SH, D'ing, and threats, and let's just say Diddy didn't stick around for public comments. But in August, Jones finally let it rip in an interview with Rolling Stone, calling Diddy a straight-up monster. According to Jones, Diddy once bragged, "He told me himself, I'll smack my mama. Anybody who can say that even jokingly is a monster." He's nothing to be played with. For a person whose brand is Love Records and changed their name to Love and named their kid Love, he doesn't show love. He's just marketing. Since the lawsuit, Jones says he's been blacklisted from the industry with no gigs in sight. "I feel like there are so many people quietly rooting for Combs, or maybe they're rooting for me and just scared to say anything," he shared. And honestly, the silence speaks volumes. The indictment against Diddy, unsealed after his arrest in New York City, indirectly expounds Lil Rod's side of the story, claiming the bad boy for life secured absolute loyalty from people linked with his business through acts of violence and threats. Prosecutors believe that Diddy's business empire apparently avoided being detected for any alleged illegal involvement through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, and threats of retaliation against individuals who witnessed the crimes committed by members and associates of the enterprise. Speaking of loyalty, there isn't much loyalty in Jay-Z, even though he had run with Diddy, the longest of them all. Now, this might sound like a wild conspiracy, but bear with me. What if we told you that Diddy had been handling Jay-Z's rap career behind the scenes for years? Yeah, you heard that right. Diddy, the man who's been notorious for signing talented street rappers only to requiring favors in return and not the kind you want, could have been Jay-Z's secret weapon all along. Think about it. Jay-Z and Diddy started rising up the ranks around the same time, but while Diddy was throwing infamous parties that became all the talk of the industry, Jay-Z was out there rubbing shoulders with the legends, Tupac, Biggie, and every heavy hitter in the game. Coincidence? Maybe, but conspiracy theorists believe it goes much deeper. Even Jaguar Wright, an industry insider who worked with Jay-Z for over 2 decades, had some serious tea to spill on Jay-Z's early days. According to her, the first time she saw Jay-Z's battle with the Big L, one of the most respected lyricists in the game, Jay wasn't even supposed to be there, but just because he was hanging with Big L, he got a hit. And here, where it gets shady. Once Jay started gaining momentum, Big L mysteriously got cut from the picture, and not long after that, he was eliminated permanently. Jaguar hints that Jay-Z wasn't climbing the ladder alone. No, Diddy was right there playing puppet master. The two allegedly started collaborating to ensure they stayed on the top while making sure anyone who could pose a threat mysteriously disappeared. And when you think about how both of them climbed to the top and stayed there, keeping the competition at bay, it makes you wonder, was it all part of a bigger plan? Anyway, as fate would have it, Big L died, but Big L and Jaguar were allegedly lovers at the time, and before he passed, he had seemingly confided in Jag about how Jay-Z was after him. "Sean Carter, I believe everything that Big L ever told me. He never lied to me. Lamont never lied to me. And the last time I was with him, he told me that you were going to try to unalive him. He told me not to trust you. Now, word on the street is that Diddy may have pulled a few strings to crown Jay-Z as the king of hip-hop, but let's be real. Jay's no stranger to the drama himself. Back in the day, there were whispers that he had something to do with Alia's tragic end. Yeah, you heard that right. But here's how it all supposedly went down. Right before Alia's untimely passing, Jay-Z started cozying up to none other than R. Kelly. Yeah, that guy. Now, R. Kelly was already drowning in rumors of creepy behavior, but Jay wasn't worried about that. He was all about making those industry connections. Meanwhile, Alia, who was still a teenager, was reportedly using R. Kelly's influence, if you catch my drift, and interestingly, R. Kelly was in the news, and Alia was 6 feet under. And we all know that Jay-Z couldn't have done this by himself. But hold up, it didn't stop there. A well-known journalist recently took to Twitter and dropped a bombshell. She claimed she'd been in contact with Jay-Z's alleged mistress, Kathy White, before her sudden and very mysterious death. Oh, and get this. Rumors have it that Queen Bey and Kathy were pregnant at the same time. Imagine the drama in that household. Liz Crokin, the journalist in question, pretty much spilled all the tea when she revealed that her boss asked her to dig into the blog rumors about Jay-Z's supposed affair with Kathy. So Liz calls Kathy up at work in New York, and guess what? Kathy was down to tell her story. But when Liz tried to call back a few days later, poof, Kathy was gone. She finally gets a hold of Kathy's coworker, and the woman casually drops, "Oh, Kathy, she's dead." Wait, what? So now the official cause of death, a brain aneurysm. But people started side-eyeing that story hard, especially since Kathy and Claudia Jordan were spotted hanging out with Jay-Z and Puffy in Vegas not long before. And of course, there are whispers that Diddy might have helped cover the whole thing up. Apparently, there were irregularities in the autopsy report. How convenient, right? But nothing has ever been proven, yet. And to be honest, Diddy has been indicted on similar charges this time. Anyway, Combs isn't going to go down alone. Oh no, this one's about to be a full-blown house cleaning. According to federal prosecutors, Diddy's crimes stretch beyond bribery, threats, and even ST, and he didn't do it solo. The entire team is about to feel the heat, from his security detail to personal assistants, right down to folks cleaning up after the aftermath. No one in Diddy's camp is safe from prosecution. And here's the kicker. Insiders say some of them are already cutting deals to testify against the man himself. Former federal prosecutor Manny Medrano has laid it out clear that those who cooperated with Diddy's operations are going to face some serious decisions. Some will flip to save themselves, while others will be criminally charged. The question is, who's considered a high-level versus a low-level enabler? Medrano explains that while a housekeeping who cleaned up after one of Diddy's infamous S-parties might be lower on the food chain, the folks who lured the women into these events? Oh no, they're going to be on the chopping block. But get this, word on the street is that no one is even thinking about approaching Jay-Z, who allegedly threw the party with Diddy. And why? Because apparently he's already done his part and washed his hands clean of the whole mess. It's as if he's in the clear while Diddy's camp scrambles. I have no doubt that perhaps there are some high-level celebrities, high-profile individuals in those parties and participated in them. The key defense for Combs will be, did the women consent voluntarily or were they forced? If they were forced, Combs will likely spend the rest of life in federal prison. And if you thought Diddy's situation couldn't get any worse, listen to what John Fuller, the consultant who's coached everyone from Martha Stewart to high-profile stars on surviving life behind bars, has to say. Fuller's stepping in with some chilling predictions about Diddy's fate, and trust me, it's not sounding like a walk in the park. Sure, Diddy might be flexing that tough guy attitude for now, but Fuller's saying the real storm's yet to hit. Fuller didn't sugarcoat it. He straight up compared Diddy's predicament to his own personal 9/11, a catastrophic moment that flips your entire world upside down. After living a life drenched in luxury and power, Diddy's now in a place where none of that matters. It's a whole different ballgame behind those bars. Reports claim that Combs is presently detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York and has been put on self-harm watch, but his counsel claims that there is no such indication. His lawyer, Mark, says the self-harm watch is precautionary concerning a new influx of high-profile prisoners. Well, fans believe that Diddy might be taking down half the industry with him. I could be wrong, but Puff Puff diddling Diddy seems like the type that if he's going down, he's going to drag everyone involved with him. End up being so many under the bus with him, that damn bus gonna end up stuck. Another added, if you're a regular street dude, then you know what it is. Do you think Jay-Z really had all these high-profile women around him with that face? It was the money and the D's he's always bragged about being from Macy's, and what he did and how he came up, and how he was always been Diddy's supplier for the parties. Do you all think Beyonce's little sister ran up on him and that elevator for nothing? Stop. It was that nasty work champ. And that's it for today. See you at the next one. Goodbye.